Your marketing message. What exactly is that? I mean, we hear it all the time, and depending on who you talk to, you're not going to get the same response. So in this episode, when you hear marketing message, we're referring to how you communicate what you do to your target audience to make a connection in those early stages of their journey and moving them through the 5 stages of readiness to make a change. Now, when this is done correctly, you provide them a solution at the right time, and then they pull out their credit card without hesitation. I know you want this to happen, and I want to make this happen not just for my business, but for yours as well. So how can we do that? Well, that's what my conversation with Heather Thatcher of the Solopreneur Survival Guide is all about. Heather shares a scientific model that's going to help us know what kind of content we need to be sharing with our customers at each stage of their buying journey so that we can create content with a strategy that will consistently make us more money. So I'm not going to drag this introduction out because I know you want to hear what Heather has to say. So let's go ahead and dive into episode number 67. Welcome back to the More Than Capable Mompreneur podcast. I'm Shannon Baker, a coffee-loving mompreneur that started as a virtual assistant and turned into a total systems geek. And I want to help you shift your mindset and embrace your worthiness while creating systems in your business so you can be more productive and build success on your own terms without the mom guilt. Are you loving that? Well, I hope you're ready for real conversations that will help you beat the perfectionist inside, rediscover your strengths, and up-level your self-love in the mom cracks of time so you can stop letting fear hold you back because you are enough and you do enough. We are more than capable mompreneurs. So grab your cup of coffee, some sparkling water, or pour a glass of your favorite wine and let's dive in. Well, I'm so excited today. I'm going to be chatting with Heather Thatcher of the Solopreneur Survival Guide. And Heather and I connected online, had a coffee chat, hit it off. I did a presentation for her membership group. And while we've had to reschedule our chat quite a few times because life happens, and especially when you have a lifestyle business, but we're finally able to connect. And I'm excited because Heather is going to give us some tips to help us nail our marketing message so that we can scale our lifestyle business, which this is part of her niche for her business. So Heather, before we jump into today's topic, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Thanks, Shannon. I'm really excited to be here and help serve your audience. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So I started my career as a registered nurse in the ICU. And what I was seeing is a lot of people found themselves there because of illnesses and diseases that could be linked to chronic stress. So I got out of the reactive side of medicine into the proactive side and started my first business in a stress management and trauma healing space. And then after a number of people went through my mindset reboot program, they started asking me to show them how to grow their own online business. And so that's where the Solopreneur Survival Guide started, was from that group of people that wanted to shorten the learning curve so that they could learn everything which they needed to be able to be successful online.
Oh, that is great. So really, it's like your business, you saw in a need, you filled that need, and then it kind of grew a life of its own, which, let's be honest, that's what a lifestyle business does. I mean, I especially know that I started in one space, saw a need, made a shift, and then this business has kind of grown and taken on a life of its own. But Heather shares some amazing tips online, and we'll get more into some of those things as we go into our topic. But let's just go ahead and jump right in. So Heather, what would you say you've seen are the 3 biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to their marketing?
So the 3 biggest mistakes that I see people making, number 1, is they're putting the wrong free content in front of their person at the wrong time. So when we think about free content on social media, everyone keeps saying, put out lots of value, keep giving all the how-to content, show them everything, and then you'll be set. But the truth is, a lot of people, especially in lifestyle businesses, they're not ready to fix their problem yet. And the greatest example of this is the health and wellness industry. Because if you think about it, there is a ton of free meal plans and workout plans on YouTube and videos you can do, yet the obesity epidemic is still a thing. Yep. So putting more of that kind of content out there for free isn't going to serve your audience. And so it's learning about meeting your audience where they're at. You're giving away the right content for free. And so that's where the messaging pillar system that I teach really plays into that. And then another one of the mistakes that I see is that people they aren't clearly communicating the pathway. They're saying, hey, come follow me and I'm going to show you how to get 10K in 10 days for your business. And you're like, great, but how? How? And a lot of people struggle with communicating that how. And so that's another part of the messaging system that I teach. And then the last mistake that I see people making is that they're niching in a way that feels inauthentic to them, or they're not niching down enough. And so the niching strategy that I suggest actually lets you feel less limited because it gives you a niche topic and then you break that down into your first niche demographic.
And that, you're the first person I've heard explain it that way. And it makes sense because when I rebranded my business, like I literally took 6 months to really niche, however people want to say it, and focus in on who am I talking to. And what I found beyond the demographics when I got into the psychographic portion was it wasn't just one person. It was a common problem among 3 different types of targets. So that definitely makes sense because without that piece, as you specialize in, you can't really nail your messaging because you're not talking to the right person. So, so those are great tips. So I can't wait to see what else we get because we're starting off with some serious nuggets here. So being that that's the case, even if we get that clarification, what would you say is the best way then to start to create that know, like, and trust factor with our messaging?
So the fastest way to create know, like, and trust is to show people that you understand what they're struggling with, that you know what they want, and you've got a logical step-by-step framework to get them there. So the days of the pain point, push on that, agitate that, and then offer the solution, I feel like those days are over. I don't feel like copywriting is moving that way anymore. We're moving into a much more compassionate space, a much more understanding and empowering space rather than a place of self-loathing, especially in lifestyle businesses. This is so important. So connecting to your person in those early stages of their journey and they're ready to make change is really important. And so there's this medical model that I used as a nurse, and it's originally developed to help people overcome an addiction, but it's been tested in a bunch of different spaces, including marketing. And it's actually one of the most powerful marketing strategies you can use because it speaks to that first mistake that I pointed out, putting the wrong content in front of the wrong people at the wrong time. So everybody moves through 5 stages on their readiness to make a change. The first stage is pre-contemplation. And that's where they've got like their head in the sand. They're just like, just surviving, not really ready, not even looking for options. Contemplation is where you're going to be meeting people on social media. And so on social media that's where you're going to have to meet people in those early phases when you're understanding what they're thinking, when they're still very much like, well, this problem is happening to me. I can't do anything about it. You're going to try and meet them there, help them understand their current circumstances and how to overcome them. That moves them into the third stage, which is preparation. And this is where a lower cost offer can do really well to then build people up, get some more that know, like, and trust that they're ready then for your higher ticket offer, which is when they're ready to take action and truly solve their problem. And then on the 5th stage, that's maintenance mode. And so that's when you're helping them maintain that problem. So what does this look like in a business? How do all of these pieces fit together? So in the Solopreneur Survival Guide, the pre-contemplation is what I call you're a dreamer. You're sitting there in your day job, staring out the window, being like, I wish I could be my own boss. Wouldn't that be nice? You're just dreaming. Then in contemplation, that's when you become the builder. That's when you're just like, okay, now I need to figure this out. I know I want this. How do I start a business? What am I going to start a business around? You're starting to look for information to try and figure out how to solve your problem. Then in preparation, that's when you're ready to start working on things like building your website, starting your social media, writing your emails. That's where you're really in that preparation phase. But every single entrepreneur that I've worked with has always hit a roadblock where the imposter syndrome and that pesky inner critic starts to hold them back. And so really, people think that they want to build this online business and that they need to work on website and social media first, but truly, they need to work on their mindset. So the action level step for me is the Mindset Reboot program. And that's where people can then overcome that imposter syndrome and be able to fully become the digital CEO that they were meant to be, stage 5.
That's awesome. I love framework, iterations. I mean, like I have the 3 C's of streamlining. It's like it helps you pull the pieces together for your business. And as you mentioned, that framework is really important because that's how you identify, as you mentioned, what's the issue. But instead of beating people over the head with it, you can connect with them by like sharing a real life story of how did you deal with it, which comes to the mindset. How did you overcome it to get to where you are? And now you can help the person with that. But that takes knowing the process before, as you mentioned, you can get people to actually take action.
That's right, because we buy for emotional reasons and then use our logic brain to justify it. So if we can get the emotional connection with their struggles and what they want and paint this beautiful picture of the journey, and then they get emotionally invested and they're like, yes, that's what I want. And then you say, oh yeah, here are the 5 steps to get there. And then their logic brain's just like, yes, let's do this. And then the credit card comes out and then you know that you're set.
Exactly. So now one of the things I know that we've all been taught to help with this process is give them the freebie. So we take them along on a journey. Starts with giving them a free download, but then we lead them to, as you mentioned, that low ticket offer, the $17 to $49 kind of offer where we're like, okay, yeah, we pulled that card out quick and it's like, let me test this person out and see if this is actually going to work. And then when they do and it works, they're like, okay, now I'm really ready to invest in this person helping me. So getting started with that freebie, like what type of freebie do you think works best for someone to start this process?
So there are 3 different freebies that I recommend. And the goal with these freebies are to create a gap that your offer will fill. So you want the person reading your freebie or going through your quiz or whatever it is, you want them to self-identify, ooh, there's a difference between where I am right now and where I want to be. And they can help me fix that. So the 3 different kinds of freebies I recommend, number 1 are the roadmap. So you're going to give people those 5 stages, the 5 stages of change for your business. So that way they can see like, okay, I'm in stage 2 right now. But I know what stage 3, stage 4, stage 5 looks like. Great. I know what the journey is going to look like. And that's where you're going to bring in that logical brain to justify the emotional experience. So the roadmap's the first one. There's a self-discovery opt-in because we all like to learn more about ourselves, which is why there's so many of those BuzzFeed quizzes. What fruit are you? What Harry Potter character are you? What color represents your personality? So coming up with some kind of self-discovery opt-in as it relates to your business is really powerful. And an example of this for my stress management business is we look at what your core values are. Because a lot of people that have gone through trauma, they have been people pleasers for so long that they actually don't really know who they are. They only know who they are for these other people. So reconnecting to that part of you is sort of one of the first steps in that journey. So it's some kind of self-discovery opt-in. For the entrepreneur business, we talk about discovering your 5 brand connectors, these 5 things that you can talk about on social media that have nothing to do with your business, but they're just fun things about you. So these kinds of pieces are really good freebies because we are wired to learn more about who we are. So it's just a really easy yes for people. And then the last freebie that I recommend is one that's really good at creating that gap. And that's the assessment opt-in. And so you have some kind of assessment that you create, checklists that they can go through that will then help them realize, ooh, I really need to do something about my problem. And so for the stress management business that I have, we have a stress risk assessment that's based in research and evidence that shows, based on the different things that have happened to you in the past 2 years, what are your likelihood of getting sick because of that? And then for the business, the solopreneur business that I have, we have a successful business checklist where I show you all of the things that you have to have in place before you're ready to scale. And so that you can just go through and see what is missing in there. And then that's a really easy upsell to your lower cost offer that's going to help fill in those gaps.
And, that's actually, it's very informative and accurate, because one of my most successful downloads similar is a checklist of the 15 processes that like every mompreneur needs to run a side business. So it's like you say, you just check the boxes off. It's like, okay, well, one, it helps you see I've got some good things in place. I'm just missing a few. So it boosts your confidence to, okay, well, I'm not, and someone actually told me I wasn't doing as bad as I thought I was because I was able to check some of them off. So now I see I don't have as much work to do. So that definitely is a good one. But you gave me an idea with that roadmap. So now I have to put that on my to-do list. I like that idea.
All right. I'm excited to see it, Shannon.
Me too. So you've shared so much value just in these few, maybe 15 minutes or so that we've been chatting so far. And everyone that's listening is going to agree, okay, they need more of you. So don't be sad. We have just what you need. You need to check out Heather's Solopreneur Survival Guide podcast, because it actually has a free training. And it's amazing. Like when I looked at it, I was like, she's giving all of this away for free. It's like, oh my goodness. Then what do people get when they pay to work with her? So tell us a little bit about that. Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because the podcast is a full business course. Each season is like a module of a course. You get the theory to run and apply for your business. But there's a lot of tech in online business. The learning curve of like, okay, so Instagram says you need to be on stories, you need to be sharing to social media, but what do you share? And so that's what my membership offers, is walkthrough videos, templates, frameworks, guidelines, supports, that way you know how to implement this and how to actually make it really effective for you. Because a lot of business courses out there, I find they're very good at giving great theory and suggestions, but I was left feeling that gap, like, okay, but how do I build a website? And so that's what we talk about in the membership, a lot of the walkthrough components.
And hey, if it wasn't for so everyone needing some help to get the tech in place, I wouldn't have a job either. So
yep.
Like, hey, let me shorten the learning curve to getting some of that technology in place and getting your automation in place. So that's why we love what we do. So exactly. I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes, but also so that they can get your other tips that you share online. Where else can everyone find you?
So they can find me and lots of free resources on my website. It's heatherthatcher.com. And then you can also find me on Instagram at the Solopreneur Survival Guide. That's where I'm pretty active on social media.
Yes, she is. And she's very responsive as well. So make sure that when you finish listening to this episode, screenshot it, share it in Instagram stories, tag us both so that we know that you enjoyed it, and tell us one of your favorite nuggets that you pulled from this episode. So Heather, before I let you go or wrap up our chat, tell me, what is one system either in your life or in your business that you can't live without?
Evergreen social media. If I did not have evergreen social media, I would not be able to run 4 businesses. I would be sunk.
4. You're amazing.
Or a little bit crazy, but...
Well, you never look crazy or sound crazy when we talk. So that means you've got it under control. So that's a good thing. So proof is in the pudding. Make sure you check her out. And that is going to wrap up our chat today. Thank you so much, Heather, for joining us and sharing all these nuggets with us today.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon. It was a really good time.
Well, thank you for tuning in today. And I hope you enjoyed my chat with Heather and are ready to refine your marketing message to get better results for your business. Now, if you would like to connect with Heather on Instagram, the link to her profile as well as her free business training is in the show notes. I'm also going to drop a link to my Biz Ops Checklist in the show notes as well. That's going to help you identify the 15 processes you need to get in place to run your business more efficiently. Now, if you enjoyed today's episode, please let me know. Take a screenshot, post it in Instagram stories, and tag me at @the_Shannon Baker. Or feel free to DM me if one of the points that Heather shared resonated with you in particular. So that's it. Now remember, you are more than enough. And until next time, keep calm and streamline.